Welcome to the Philosopher's Gaming News. Greetings everyone. Today I want to discuss a comment of the former EA CEO. He said chasing console graphics for mobile games is a mistake. And we will be talking about a strange design decision of Square Enix regarding Lightning Returns. In an interview with Polygon, John Riccitiello, former EA CEO, expressed his opinion that developing mobile games with console graphics can be a road to ruin. He makes some interesting points I would agree on. Better graphics does not mean better gameplay. And as long as the developers are just aiming for better graphics but losing track of the gameplay, it won't work. One very important point you have to keep in mind is that if you increase the graphic quality of a game, you always increase the production costs. And if we think about the whole discussion about AAA titles, we see where this is leading. Companies are complaining that AAA titles are too expensive and that they are not making enough money out of them. Square Enix said that Sleeping Dogs and Tomb Raider were very good games, but the sales were below their expectations. So I would agree, if a company is focusing on better graphics but not on better gameplay and not on making the game more fun, then this is pretty much a trap. Because if better graphics are not adding something to the game, then they have just increased their development costs and will sell the same amount of copies, which results in a profit decrease, and that is probably not the goal of a company. They could eventually increase the price, but that will bring problems with the community. The graphics have to be built around the gameplay, so it will add something to it, add a new dimension, a new idea, new innovation to the game. Else they will run into the same problems as AAA titles have right now. They are just iterations, the same game over and over again, with some little changes here and there. And if you look at the mobile market, you see the same phenomenon right now. If there's one successful game, other copanies, that's actually a very good term, other copanies start copying the game and just change the background color, which leads into one iteration after another with minimal or no changes at all. And this brings a lot of problems. And you have to keep in mind that the mobile market is a very young market, but they are already iterating like crazy. In my opinion, just focusing on better graphics won't solve this problem. But are mobile developers really focusing on better graphics? Is the technology there to have next-gen graphics on a mobile device? And it seems to be that the answer is yes. Nvidia showed a GPU called Project Logan that supports Unreal Engine 4, and it looked really impressive for a mobile device. I will link it down in the description. Also, Riccitiello was the CEO of Electronic Arts, so he knows the business probably a little bit better than we do. But also, I can see the tendency into better graphics for mobile games. And I have to agree, this could be a mistake and lead into the same problems as we have them now for AAA titles. I also want to point out that this idea can be transferred to AAA titles. It is not a good idea to just focus on high graphic quality when the gameplay is not keeping up. The graphics have to add something to the game, and boosting it from just looking very good to it is more fun to play and it differentiates from other games. And this would be very good for games in general. The next thing I want to talk about is a strange design decision by Square Enix regarding the next big game, Lightning Returns. I was not sure if I should cover this topic here on my channel, but in my opinion it is just hilarious and to some degree ridiculous. So I decided to just talk a little bit about the problem here. For those who don't know, I really like the old Final Fantasies, and my favorite part is Final Fantasy XIII, which is considered old now because it came out in 97, so it's about 16 years old. And this is really one of my favorite games of all time, together with the original Deus Ex. But Final Fantasy XIII is not a game that I really enjoyed. There are several reasons for it. The level design was a disaster. The soundtrack, well, I enjoyed like 2 tracks of the soundtrack and the rest was meh. I don't like most of the characters. Some are okay, but the reason for this is I can't understand their motivations. And this leads directly into the story, which I also don't like. The game is about 2 groups with 3 people each. And these 3 people share backstory and have a conflict there, some trouble with each other. And the game is about solving this conflict or this tension between these characters. The problem now is that they really try, and you notice that they are trying to artificially maintain the tension or the conflict between these characters throughout the whole game. And not just once, they do it twice. And this is a main story device for climax and character development in this game. And in my opinion, it just don't work. So I don't want to make a full review here, but you get my point. I don't like the main elements of the game, and I didn't even talk about the gameplay, which has a lot of flaws. And since I'm not the only one who dislikes Final Fantasy XIII, they decided to create another Final Fantasy XIII game. And it seems to be about a character that is not that popular, Lightning. And that's the reason why it's called Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII. And what did they do to make this unpopular character more appealing? Yes, they made her breasts bigger. And they're bouncing now. And this is not a joke, I guess. I hope it's a joke, but it seems to be real. I link the interview, and please, do me a favor and just read the interview. It's hilarious. It's really good. It's really good. Just read it. But now comes the unfunny part for me, the sexualization of women in video games. And this is a very tough topic I can't treat in full complexity here in my video. A while ago someone wrote that there are nearly no good written or strong female characters in video games, and the writer is probably right. A reason for this phenomenon could be, and that is just an assertion, that still most gamers are male. This leads into several different conclusions. One is that writing a good and strong female character is a really hard task to pull off. It is far more easier to just pull the big breast slider to the max, and it will work too, since we have a mainly male audience. And there's another thing we have to keep in mind in this context. If you develop a game today, you also have marketing costs, and the marketing costs can be even higher than the development costs today. So you just don't develop a game and then you're done. You develop a game with marketing in mind. And what is easier and more efficient to market? A well-written and deep female character or the breast slider pulled to max? Especially if you keep in mind that your main audience is male. And with this old approach, we have in a young medium like video games a lack of good female characters. This is a consequence, and in my opinion, in most cases it is not meant as an offensive or discrimination against women. It is more an efficient way of marketing for male audience. You could argue that this is a sad thing, but humans evolve very slowly and their sexual drive will be around for a while. The only thing women can do against this is to raise their voices, and it seems that nowadays voices will be heard. Probably this won't do justice to the complexity of the topic, but I think you get my point. Of course we need better written and strong female characters in video games. But I think we are slowly getting there. Keep in mind that we have now the technology to change the thing, to let our voices be heard. If we think of Microsoft and their original Xbox One concept, we can see that they changed it after many people complained and nobody bought their console. So this is a very strong power we have right now, and this will be probably necessary to change old things. And keep also in mind that the financial aspect is always important. If the developers see that there is a market for strong female good written characters, then they will do strong good written female characters. I'm pretty sure of this. So this is a good final comment on this, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please press a like button. If you have anything to say or want to discuss with me, then please write it down in the comment section. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.